What is socially acceptable in the US that would be horrifying in the UK? When my Brit friends were visiting, they were horrified when the waiter took their credit card to swipe back at the terminal. This made them really uncomfortable. Saying someone has a lot of spunk. Naming your child Randy. Edit. British people wait. People don't really name their child Randy. Do they? Americans, what's wrong with Randy? Coming from the perspective of a British guy. Your style of customer service. Not universally, but very commonly. It's way too over the top for us. Nobody here can be fucked with that. When someone says, make yourself at home, actually making yourself at home. I don't know how common it actually is there. But going fucking wild at the cinema during a hugely popular film like Avengers, Endgame or a Star Wars film. There's a bunch of videos on YouTube of the audience reactions to various big franchise films, and I don't know how anybody lasts more than a few minutes in that room. When I saw The Force Awakens, like two people half-heartedly cheered when the title screen came up and then someone immediately told them to shut the fuck up. A rubber in England is not the same as a rubber in the US. Anything taking over an hour to get to being a short trip. I was in Japan once and there was a vending machine selling beer outside my hotel room. So, being British, I bought a can and went to the elevator where I shared an excruciating couple of minutes with two American businessmen. They were horrified at my early day drinking. And I at their willingness to express this. Making tea in a microwave. I have one that's the other way around. A girlfriend did that hands over the eyes surprise thing and presented me with a little Christmas tree decorated with candy cane. I said, oh, a dinky little Christmas tree. In America dinky means worthless. In the UK it means small and cute. She cried. I had called my mother to back me up on the misunderstanding. Chatting casually at the lift. Politicians mentioning religion when campaigning. Going 5 miles per hour over the speed limit on the right lane. Bum bag. Not fanny pack. Commercials advertising prescription drugs. Ask your doctor if OxyContin is right for you. Being permitted to turn right at a red light, or even left if turning from one one-way street to another one-way street in some states unless there is a sign specifying no turn on red. Edit. Jeremy Clarkson calls right turns on red something like America's only contribution to the world. Paying more than the price you see on a price tag in a shop due to taxes. WTF, just put how much it costs. The inverse answer to this question would be calling people a cunt. I've learned from my British friends that you have to be very careful giving peace signs. If you have your hand facing a certain way, it's like a fuck you in the UK basically. Whereas in the US it doesn't matter which way it's facing really. Several years ago I sent them a picture with me doing an incorrect peace sign and they were appalled. ETA, the offensive version is where your palm is facing inwards. ETA again, my life goal of being on BuzzFeed has been achieved. I'm originally from the UK. Have a son that loves Japanese stuff. So we went to a gun show that had people selling swords. Found a really nice katana for him to hang on his playroom wall. But that surreal moment when we are walking out of the show. With his sword in scabbard. On end. By his side. Walked past a cop at entrance. Who nodded approval, nice sword. Then in the parking lot. Past a lad his age and his dad. Both carrying semi-automatics rifles on slings. Both nodded approval and respect to my boy with his sword. The whole show had hundreds of people walking around with guns. And bags of ammo. Never felt anything but safe. But did think how this would be a tad out of place back home. Addressing a stranger as sir. I mean routine circumcision would be the big one. It's pretty rare over here. We quite like our floppy little blankets. Overworking. It's rewarded and encouraged in the US. But during my time in the UK, my colleagues were horrified by the long hours and lack of holidays that was the norm in the US. My British partner and I, American, were in London, running late to meet our friends. Just as we get to the tube station, I see our train has just pulled in. We haul ass across platform and I yell, "Hold the door." Someone does. We make the train. I don't see a problem. My partner, by contrast, is mortified. This was 4-5 years ago and he is still mortified. Apparently we were meant to just let the train leave without us and wait for the next one. Maybe not social acceptance, but in the US you can turn right on a red light. No turning left on a red light for us Brits. Most upvoted comment of mine ever. Well done people. High fructose corn syrup. Offering full-time employees anything less than 28 days of paid holidays per year, it's not only socially unacceptable, it's illegal. And X200B. Edit. To clarify, those 28 days include public holidays, Christmas, Easter, etc. Semicolon. So a UK worker's contract might award 20 days paid holiday plus 8 public holidays. It's pretty common to get more though, e.g. 25 days holiday plus 8 days public holidays, 33 days in total. Thank you for the silvers. When somebody says you should come to their house sometime. Actually going by their house sometime. Gaps in bathroom stalls. How much sugar is added to US food v UK food? Looking around someone's house and complimenting things. As I found out is done in another thread the other day, eating sandwiches without butter on the bread. Being from the UK, this horrifies me. All of these are super low-hanging fruit, I'd say. Being very sociable with strangers. Most conversation I've seen down here in Cornwall is started when there's a car crash and people are gossiping about it, or you live in a small town village and you know the people around you. Going to America and having someone strike up a conversation while I'm minding my own business or when I am trying to go somewhere was strange for me. With the caveat of, at least where I live in the US. Carrying a gun on your hip into the gas station, pharmacy, Walmart, or pretty much anywhere and no one batting an eye. Dumping mass quantities of tea in the harbor. Iced tea. When my American friend said I was double fisting because I had another pint before my other was finished, I thought he meant something else entirely. New mothers going back to work almost immediately after giving birth, because they don't have paid maternity leave. Stores showing the price pre-tax. Here in the UK the price you see is the price you pay. Driving everywhere. In the UK it's perfectly normal to have your kid walk to school and walking to the shops to do your shopping. Always horrified by the ads, both the content and the recurrence. Bloody hell. All your TV has like an ad a minute. Calling Where's Wally Where's Waldo. Huge portion sizes. Kids meal in US is like adult meal in UK. Not wanting to call for an ambulance if hurt. Not from UK. But Australia, I feel like we're pretty interchangeable at times. Culturally speaking. But tipping is weird. It's strange to pay on top of a service you've already paid for. Some places have a tip jar that you might sometimes put your loose change in. But that's the real extent of it. I find it bizarre when a company makes its employees rely on the generosity of others when they themselves aren't generous enough to pay a livable wage. Saying hello when you pass people. Sharing dorm rooms in college. Pretty much unheard of in the UK. I'm British and have been to university in both countries. When I discuss this topic with the Americans, they all assume straight away it's because we're so prude. I think based on the assumption it was because we didn't want to have to change in front of another person. But that's also a British stereotype over there. I found that funny as it's the opposite. A big reason why we don't share rooms is because we all want to have a lot of casual sex after nights out. Obviously Americans do this too. It's just so much more effort to get some privacy. Refuse a drink to a grown-ass tax-paying 20-year-old. Hershey's fucking chocolate. Complaining about the food you were served. Being a Brit originally, I became a citizen a couple of years back. I just accept what I got even if it wasn't quite what I asked for. Whereas my wife, she doesn't tolerate that and will ask them to correct it. Although she is nowhere near as bad as my stepmother-in-law. Even my wife is horrified by the lengths she will go to get a discount on the bill, like the food was a bit dry and overcooked, even though she ate most of the plate. And my father-in-law will suddenly support her, not sure if it is just to have her back or to make her look less like a twat, and he will agree while his plate is completely clean. And X200B. You just don't do that in Britain. And it makes me want to take a walk while they pull that crap. Not in the US. But Canada. When I went to the UK, I told people I had gotten this from the drugstore and I got some funny looks for saying that. I was told to say pharmacy and not drugstore because it means something way different there. Labeling the winner of a sports tournament that only your country plays as world champions. Calling football soccer. A lot of ice and drinks. My grandfather visited Ireland and asked for ice in his drink. He said the people at the restaurant were confused and gave him 2 ice cubes. Asking new neighbors. Have you found a church yet? Greeters in supermarkets. Just feels fake as fuck. You know that thing Americans do where they like smile and talk to people they don't know? Yeah, both of them XD. Just imagine you're on the subway in NYC the entire time you're in the UK and you'll get by a lot easier. LMAO. Not pronouncing the H in herbs. Spray on cheese. I spy another BuzzFeed post. Tipping. Not Ray the UK. But you guys seriously need to stop ordering Irish car bombs. It's like an Irish person ordering a 911. Edit. Oh, and black and tans. That's a straight up hate crime. Telling me how much the tip is going to be. Eating biscuits and gravy. Not only do the words refer to different things in the UK, they are still horrified when the real thing is explained. Asking for a tour of their house. Shudders. Responding to work emails while on leave vacation. If you're going to wear a fanny pack in England, FFS, please refer to it as a bum bag or something other than fanny pack. Face with tears of joy. That's got a totally different meaning between the US and UK. Driving a massive lifted truck. Not totally horrifying, but will make people think you're EDL supporter. Having a flag put up all through the year, flag memorabilia. It's not really normal here unless it's for football purposes. Edit. Also saluting the flag. Having flags at school. Hopefully a new one. Skateboarding around college campuses. And definitely high schools. Unlike TV. Very few people skateboard in American high schools, but almost everyone did at both colleges I went to, literally almost everyone. I now work at a British university, and in a lot of the pedestrian spaces there are signs saying no bikes, skateboards, etc. And in other spaces there's paving that would make skateboarding difficult. So nobody does it. Well, I saw one student try it and was pushed, gently, for taking up the whole pathway. Please tell me about your colleges though.